See, my tattoos can turn. Anyway, where's what's green? Here's a green.
Hey everybody, this is Mark Lowry, and you're watching the Mark Lowry Show on the video podcast. And you remember the other day when I showed you Jay Bakker on his daddy's TV show? Well, he's sitting right here. Hi, Jay.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
You know what? I loved the message of grace that you gave on your daddy's show. I saw it a few years ago, I guess, when you were on there for one of the first times, and you said something that really sparked my mind when you said, love the sinner, ignore the sin. And I thought, that's close.
You had to one-up me on it, didn't you?
Well, no, I didn't mean to do that, but I thought, man, that is so good. But let's take it just one little step further. Love the sinner, hate your own sin, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's where I took it. But how did you come to that conclusion?
I just saw so many people hating people, you know, and people were saying, well, love the sin, hate this. I mean, love the sinner, hate the sin.
Right.
But eventually, sometimes you can't tell the difference, and people just were being treated awful. And I said, you know, when I hang out with people, I'm not thinking about what their sin is. You know, I'm thinking about them and spending time with them and just building a relationship and a friendship. And that's when I just said, you know, love the sinner, ignore the sin, because, you know, God will open up moments. I trust God in people's lives.
You know, that is the bottom line.
Yeah.
If you can really trust God, then you don't have to trust yourself.
That's true, and that's better. And I think people find freedom in that when you are a Christian. You're not judging them, and you're not pointing your finger, or you're not condescending. And, you know, you can't be a real friend if you have an agenda. You know, and
wow, that is true.
You know, so I mean, wouldn't you feel bad if you had a friend who you found out was only your friend because he wanted to convert you to Buddhism or something else, and then, you know, once you did, that was it. You know, that's not friendship. That's prostitution of friendship,
right?
And it's prostitution of the gospel. So we have to build friendships and relationships, and allow God to work through us.
So tell me about your ministry. Now, you were in Atlanta, and now you're in New York.
Yep, we're in Brooklyn, New York right now, and it's trying to get started, trying to find a place to have church at. Looking at bars because we feel more comfortable there, reaching out to folks where they're at rather than where we're at. And it's a big move. I mean, my wife's getting ready to go to NYU. I just left Atlanta, and it's very overwhelming.
So, have you found a bar yet you're going to start a church in?
I haven't found a bar yet. I found a few bars that I like, but, you know, you got to build relationships with people.
A bar you like.
Well, you know, you have to get to know people. I haven't had a drink in 10 years. I just like to hang out in bars.
Right.
And spend time with people, and that's where the best conversation is. And so we just, you know, we have to build relationships, though. And you can't just go in and go, hey, we'll have a church, we want to meet in your bar, because automatically I think, you're going to try to convert us. You don't want to have anything to do with us. You're going to preach at us. And, you know, it's like, no, we just want to be here to love people. And so it takes time.
And, you know, I think when you convert or proselyte or witness to people after you have loved them, you built the relationship, and they can trust you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what Jesus did, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there was never strings attached. He just loved people.
Yeah. And he didn't come...
And they were drawn to him. They were drawn to him because he went to where they were at. And they were drawn to him through that because they were like, if he can be here and he can be amongst us, I must be worth something. Wow. And we've got to be with the people. And that's where I feel to be.
So how did you, Jim and Tammy's kid, how did you get to this place?
I just got hurt. I was hurt so many times. I felt judged so many times. I also did a lot of judging a lot of the times. Mm-hmm. And I judged myself, and I just said it's not working. You know, I just wanted to meet people where they're at. Somebody just walked in the studio.
Yeah. My little studio on the back side of my house.
But, yeah, you know, I mean, I don't know. It was just, I just wanted to cut through the crud and just build relationships. I got tired of being preached at and told what God was and never shown grace and never shown love. And when I read the book of Galatians and Romans, and then I went back and looked at the Gospels again, I just said, Jesus was constantly going to people. He wasn't bringing in bands and having a huge outreach. He was constantly going to where people were at and spending time, dining with them, hanging out with them. And, you know, I just want to be in relationship with people. I want to love people. I want to know people. And I don't want to have an agenda anymore. My only agenda is to love people. And so that's kind of what's drawing me to that.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. For me, it is.
It works?
Works for me.
Have you seen people's lives changed?
Yes. It's been crazy. I've even had bartenders sometimes call me. One time I had this huge bartender come to me in the bar and say, I need to talk to you. And I was like, oh, he's so mad because I'm bringing all these Christian folks in here. And he said, come over here. And he took me in the back room, and I thought, he was going to yell at me or maybe even punch me. And he started crying and saying, my mom's dying. And I need somebody to pray for me. Would you pray for me and pray for my mom right now? And it's those times, those just where people, when life gets hard, when the rubber hits the road, they knew we were there for them. Matter of fact, one of the last bars we met in came to us and said, we heard you need a place to meet. We love what you're doing. We want you here. They didn't charge us rent or anything because they knew that we had a reputation of just loving people for who they were and where they were at, not for who they could be or who they should be.
Softly and tenderly, Jesus is calling.